Let us now take a look at the first sutram and the most important sutram which prescribes a bahuvrihi compound. Sutram is 2.2.24. It reads Anekam Anya Padarte, and the vritti reads Anekam Prathamantam Anyasya Padasya Arthe Vartamanam Va Samasyate Saha Bahuvrihi. Why does the vritti say Prathamantam? Because of the word Sheshaha used in the prior sutram, which is the Adhikara sutram 2.2.23, Shesho Bahuvrihi. When we studied that sutram, we noted that the word Sheshaha used in that sutram refers to that triad of sup endings whose compounding has not been specifically prescribed with the preceding rules 2.1.24, etc. Since compounding has been prescribed by the preceding rules for all triads except the nominative, the word Sheshaha used here stands for a compound composed of words ending in the nominative case. Hence the vritti of this sutram 2.2.24, which is contained in the adhikara of Shesho Bahuvrihi, says Anekam Prathamantam. And why does the vritti say Va Samasyate? That is because of the adhikara of Vibhasha, which runs from 2.1.11 all the way down to 2.2.29. Okay, so the meaning of this sutram is two or more terms having the designation padam and ending in the nominative case may optionally compound to yield a bahuvrihi compound, provided the terms are employed to denote the sense of another padam which is not part of the compound. The compounding is optional means that we may also construct a sentence, a vakyam, using the same words as are in the compound to convey the same meaning. Now the first note here says that aprathama vibhaktyarthe bahuvrihirriti samanadhikarananam iti cha phalitam. We can conclude that 1. A bahuvrihi compound denotes the sense of a padam which is not part of the compound, whose case ending is other than the nominative. Since the case ending of all the words which are part of the bahuvrihi compound is the nominative, and these words are employed to denote the sense of another padam which is not part of the compound, it follows that that other padam, which is the pradhana padam, has a case ending other than the nominative. The terms which are in the compound, they all end in the nominative case, and since they are denoting another padam which is outside that compound, that other padam should obviously have an ending other than the nominative. This is the first conclusion which we can draw, and the second conclusion is that the constituent members of a bahuvrihi compound denote a common item because they all end in the nominative case. They are all referring to a common item, but the entire compound denotes a padam which is outside the compound. The entire compound is Anya Pada Pradhanaha. So the individual members point to a common padam, but taken together, the entire compound refers to another padam which is outside the compound. This is the trademark of a bahuvrihi. It will become clear as we take examples. The first example we'll be taking is Chatvari Mukhani Yasya Saha, one whose faces are 4. So 4 faces obviously are referring to the faces themselves, but the entire compound Chaturmukha is referring to Brahma, the one who has 4 faces. So the individual members of the compound refer to the faces themselves, while the entire compound Chaturmukha is Anyapada Pradhanaha. In this case, the Anyapadam is Brahma. And we can see in the Vigraha Vakyam, the case ending attached to the term denoting that Anyapadam is Shashti Bhakti. The Vigraha Vakyam has Yasya Saha, while the case endings attached to the constituent members of the compound, of course, is the Prathama Vibhakti, Chatvari Mukhani. Okay, before taking more examples, let's look at the next note here. It says that the word Bahuvrihi itself is an example of a Bahuvrihi compound. It is analyzed as Bahavo Vrihayo Yasya Saha, a person who has who owns a lot of rice. The rich man. So just as Tatpurushaha itself is a Tatpurushaha compound, similarly Bahuvrihi itself is a Bahuvrihi compound. The next note here says that when forming Avyebhavaha and Tatpurushaha compounds, only two terms may be combined at one time. We know that because of the Didhikara of Sup Sahasupa coming down from 212 and 214. But that Sahasupa ends at the Sutram 2222. The Adhikara of Sup continues, but Sahasupa stops at 2222. Instead of Sahasupa, which means with another Subantam, we now have Anekam, which runs down from 2224 down to 2229. So Bahuvrihi compounds and also Dvandvaha compounds may be formed by combining two or more terms simultaneously. For example, Panchagavo dhanam yasya saha equals Panchagavadhanaha, one whose wealth is 5 cows. Here, 3 words are being combined simultaneously to form a Bahuvrihi compound. This is also an important distinction between the Bahuvrihi and Tatpurushaha or Avyebhavaha compound. Let's take some examples now. The first example we already saw, Chatvari Mukhani Yasya Saha. It may also be expressed as Chatvari Mukhani Asya Iti. Chaturmukhaha Brahma. He, meaning Lord Brahma, who has 4 faces. So we can use the pronoun Yat in the Vigraha Vakyam. So we can say Yasya Saha, or we can use the pronoun Idam in the Vigraha Vakyam. So we can say Asya Iti. They both mean the same thing, but these are the ways in which the Vigraha Vakyam is constructed for Bahuvrihi compound. Please make a note of it, because when we're reading a Bhashyam or a Tika, the commentator will most likely not mention the word Bahuvrihi, but looking at the Vigraha Vakyam which has been given in the commentary, we should be able to immediately detect that this is a Vigraha Vakyam for a Bahuvrihi compound, because these are standard ways of expressing a Bahuvrihi compound. We should be familiar with the template of the Vigraha Vakyam for every type of compound, because the commentators use these technical Vigraha Vakyani, the explanatory sentences, to analyze compounds. And if we know the form of the Vigraha Vakyam for each type of compound, then we can immediately relate the Vigraha Vakyam to that particular compound. So the Vigraha Vakyam of this Bahuvrihi compound may read Chatvari Mukhani Yasya Saha or Chatvari Mukhani Yasyeti Chaturmukhaha. Okay, next example is Praptam Udakam Yam Saha or Praptam Udakam Imam Iti Praptodakaha Garamaha. Here the Anyapadam has taken a Dvitiya Vibhakti, Yam. So the meaning is that village to which water has reached. Here again we see that the constituent members of the compound Praptam and Udakam, they end in the nominative case and they point to the same item. They have Samanadhikaranam. They are pointing to the Udakam, while the Anyapadam is Gramaha, and in the Vigraha Vakyam it has taken a second case ending Yam or Imam. So when we see a Bahuvrihi compound, we have to check these conditions, that in the Vigraha Vakyam the constituent members have taken the nominative case ending, while the Anyapadam has a case ending other than the nominative. Similarly, next example here is Udhaha Rathaha Yena Saha Athava Udhaha Rathaha Anena Iti Udharathaha Anadvan. That ox which has conveyed the chariot. Here the Anyapadam has taken the third case ending in the Vigraha Vakyam, Yena or Anena. And of course the members of the compound have taken the nominative case ending Udhaha Rathaha. Similarly, Uparataha Pashuho Yasmai Saha Athava Uparataha Pashuho Asmai Iti Uparata Pashuho Rudraha. He, Lord Rudra, to whom the sacrificial beast has been offered. Here the Anyapadam has taken the fourth case ending in the Vigraha Vakyam. So we have Yasmai or Asmai. Similarly, Udhrataha Odanaha Yasyaha Sa Athava Udhrataha Odanaha Asyaha Iti Udhrataudana Sthali. That plate from which rice has been taken out. Here the Anyapadam has taken the fifth case ending in the Vigraha Vakyam. So we have Yasyaha or Asyaha. Similarly, next example, Pitam ambaram yasya saha or Pitam ambaram asya iti. Pitambaraha Harihi. He, Lord Vishnu, who has a yellow garment. Here the Anya Padam has taken the sixth case ending. Yasya or Asya. And finally, we have Bahu Sasyam Yasmin Tat or Bahu Sasyam Yatra Tat or Bahu Sasyam Asmin iti or Bahu Sasyam Atra iti. Bahu Sasyam Kshetram, that field in which there is a lot of grain. Here the Anya Padam has taken the seventh case ending, Yasmin or Asmin. You may also use the indeclinables, Yatra or Atra, to convey the same meaning. Okay, let us now take the derivation of the compound Chaturmukha. We have already seen that the Laukika Vigraha is Chatvari Mukhani Yasya Saha. The Alaukika Vigraha is Chatur Jas plus Mukha Jas. Compounding, of course, authorized by the Sutram 2.2.24 Aneka Manya Padarthe. Now, as per the Sutram 1.2.43, Prathamanidrishtam Samasa Upasajanam, Chatur Jas as well as Mukha Jas gets the designation Upasajanam because in the Sutram 2.2.24 Anekam Anya Padarthe, which prescribes the compounding, the term anekam ends in the nominative case. So both of these get the designation upasajanam, and hence 2.2.30 upasajanam purvam cannot help us in deciding which term to place in the prior position in the compound. That is why we need the next sutram which we are going to take, which is 2.2.35 Saptami Visheshane Bahuvrihau, to decide which padam to put in the prior position in the compound.